Hey there, covering your phase 1 rehab exercises we discussed. Starting off, our biggest goal right now is teaching you how to recontrol your ankle in the different motion patterns that you have lost. So when you sprain your ankle and you stretch out those ligaments on one side of the ankle, those sensors that are in the ligament are actually further apart than they used to be. So for example, if this stretchy band was your ligament, it used to be this length and had sensors telling it that this was the length. Now it is much longer. So to start you off with your homework exercises, we're going to just put you in a cross-legged position. We're going to do the 4 quadrants, so pulling up with your foot, pulling down towards the ground with your foot, pulling up in the air with your foot, and then also we can do pointing the toe as well with your foot. And our goal with all of these is making sure your motions are nice and smooth and slow, and then making sure there's no ratchet as you're doing the motion, making sure that it's not shaky or twitchy. The worst thing you can do with these exercises is do them too quickly. We want to make sure you go nice and slow, which is where you make the most progress. The second thing about your ankles, we need to retrain it as for where neutral is. So I know that I discussed with you how important it is to learn how to control that foot in a stable, balanced position. So I have pulled a wall board up. I'm just going to angle this down. Videos are really bloody hard. But I want to really re-emphasize how important it is to hold the arch up on the inside of the foot. So we want that arch up nice and raised, and we want to be able to do that with the knee over the second toe and not have that knee be way out to the side to hold your arch up. So that's going to be the hardest part, is teaching yourself to hold that arch up while we keep our knee in. So most people that sprain an ankle, they want to hold the arch up and have the knee out to the side. So teaching you that orientation, and once you have the correct orientation, then teaching you how to balance on it. So first we'll get you into that nice foot flat position, and then from a nice foot flat position we're going to raise up the arch, pushing down with the big toe, pushing down with the baby toe, pushing down with the heel, and we really want 3 points of contact: the big toe, out to the baby toe, and then also on the heel as well. And then when you have that, then you can go ahead and load it. So that is going to be an important thing we want you to learn how to do as well. So that's 2 exercises. One are the stretchy bands. I want you to do them for 1.5 minutes each exercise. And if it's too hard for you to hold your band, you can stand on it with one foot, and then the other one loops around as you cross it to put it on your ankle. And the further down towards the toes it is, the harder it is. And the biggest goal is keeping that ankle nice and smooth as we're doing our exercises. So again, we're doing the 4 quadrants there. I did discuss with you getting up onto the heel and doing alphabet exercises where we're actually tracing the alphabet with our toe. I'm trying to find enough range of motion, enough space in my office, but tracing the alphabet so that if you're writing your great-grandma letter, it actually looks like the letter you're trying to write her. So a D looks like a D, and an E looks like an E, and an F looks like an F. And what you're going to notice when you have a sprain is that some muscles will fire and others will not. So really focus on making it nice and smooth with your S's. And if you're missing a range, let's focus on getting that range back. Another one that's going to be important for you to work on is what we're going to call the windshield wiper exercise. So it is, your foot is actually the windshield wiper blade on the front of your car. So we want to touch the outside of the foot onto the ground, and then we want to touch the inside of the foot on the ground. So what that looks like from your perspective is outside, inside, outside, inside. And what we're doing is we're gliding the bone on the top of the foot underneath our leg bones. So with that talar dome, it kind of looks like this, and we're shifting it in and out, and in and out. And when we have a sprain, it gets all inflamed on the outside, adhered, and so we lose that ability to put the foot into this position. And what we're training for when we can get it into this outer position, this direction, is we want to make it strong enough that we can actually start to stand on it in that position. So to actually get up onto that foot and to get it into that position and load it with all of our weight into a supinated position. So that's something you're going to work on. So the beginning exercises that I want you to do are the alphabet exercises. So A, B, C, D. I want you to go through the alphabet twice. The next one are going to be the rubber band exercises. So getting in and looping around that foot, and we're going for 1.5 minutes each direction. So 1.5 minutes of pulling towards my shin, 1.5 minutes of pulling down towards the ground, 1.5 minutes of pulling up towards the sky, and 1.5 minutes of pushing away from your knee, pointing the toe. And our goal is nice and smooth because we're building up endurance of the muscles that support, that are your ankle stabilizers. So there's those two. The next one is going to be learning how to balance on that foot. Just like I said, learning how to hold that arch up while you have the knee in over it. So we're working two different groups of muscles at the same time. We're working the upper thigh to hold that knee in, and we're working the deep into the arch as well. Posterior tibialis muscle that wraps up around the back of your bone, the back of your medial malleolus, and comes up into your mid leg. That's the guy that raises that arch up. So we need to learn to hold that arch up and then how to stand on it. Let's see here. And then we have you doing the windshield wiper exercise. So outside the foot, inside the foot, outside the foot, inside the foot. And what this is going to prep you for is once you have the flexibility to get on the outside of the foot without pain, we're going to have you swap to something called edge walking. And what edge walking looks like, to tilt it even more so up, I don't know if I can get in that position, but edge walking would be getting you on the edges of your feet and actually walking in that position. So that will be next week after you do these rehab exercises. Next week we'll be getting you into an edge position and then doing that for a minute and a half a day, and then also getting you up into toes and be toe walking around for a minute and a half a day. And the progression from that, once those are easy, the third week will be then from taking you to edge walking and then putting you into a toe walking position. So we're going to go from edge to toe, up balanced on it, edge to toe, up balanced on it, to start strengthening up the muscles of your feet. And the reason why we're doing this is because the muscles of your feet are actually what stabilize and support that arch. And so it's all about being able to control those guys. In an American foot, we don't have the muscle tone. We are missing a third of our muscle. And then we also cannot control our foot. So we have this tight, contracted shoe that forces our foot down. We lose control of all the muscles, and we lose all the muscle itself to support and stabilize. So we're looking at building that back up again. So go use your ankle. I'd recommend if you run any, if you head out on any rocky trails, try to step on the rocks and try to keep in mind that now that you've stretched those tendons and ligaments out in your ankle, we have to relearn from scratch where your foot is again. So that's why when I go out on the rocky trails, I like to step onto the rocks versus just trying to step around them, because I always nick a foot on the rock as I'm going over it because my foot has forgotten where it is in space. So that is the beginning of your rehab. Let's see how that goes, and then reach out if you need some more exercises. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.